In this video we're going to look at triangles. We're going to find the triangles centroid, circumcenter and arco center. You need to know what these three are and you need to be able to distinguish between three of them, because there's no point in being asked to find the centroid and you find in the circumcenter. You're going to get no marks. Alright? First of all, we're going to look at the centroid. What the centroid is we will look at the three sides of the triangle. We'll find the midpoint. So here's one midpoint. That's the midpoint of this line. And what I will do then is I will join that midpoint to its opposite vertices. I will do the same for another point. So another side. Let's say that's the side. And let's say its midpoint is here. I will join that midpoint to its opposite vertices where the two cross. That's the centroid. I could do it a third time. I could find the midpoint here, join that to its opposite vertices, and it will cross the middle as well. Okay. There is a formula for doing it. Here's the formula: x1 plus x2 plus x3 over 3, comma y1 plus y2 plus y3 over 3. If we label x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3, slot it into the formula and work it out, we will get 5, 3 as our answer there. Okay, so if you just want to pause that and have a quick look over that sum and how I did it. I called it G, okay, so I call the centroid point G, but I mean, it doesn't have to be G. Okay. Circumcenter, similar, okay, similar but very different, so you need to be able to distinguish. In the circumcenter, here's what we do. We get the midpoint of this line, but instead of joining it to its opposite vertices, we draw a perpendicular line, so it makes a right angle there. Next we get the midpoint of another line, and again we draw a perpendicular line to that. Where they cross, that's the circumcenter. If you wanted to do the third side, here it is, draw a perpendicular line, it would again cross that. I suppose you need a knowledge of slopes of lines, midpoint, perpendicular lines having different slopes. If you have that knowledge, you're going to be able to find the circumcenter. Okay, we'll do a few examples in a little while. And the next one, or the last one then, is the Arco Center. And the Arco Center is if I draw a line from the vertices perpendicular to its opposite side. So for example, that's not it. However, I need to draw a line from the vertices which is perpendicular to the opposite side. Again here, from the vertices which is perpendicular to the opposite side. Likewise here, perpendicular to its opposite side. Okay. Okay. The best way I can show you how to find the Arco Center is to do a question. Right. So find the Arco Center of the below triangle. So we have a triangle, minus 4, 3, that's point A, 0, minus 5, that's point B, and 3, 4, that's point C. The Arco Center, as we found out up here, is if I draw a line from, let's say, one of the vertices perpendicular to its opposite side. And if I do that again, it's where the two cross. Okay, but it's no good me just sketching that. That's not precise enough. I need to do it algebraically. Okay, here's what I do. I am going to find the slope of one of the sides. I'm going to find the slope of this. Alright. Why would I find the slope of this? Because if I find the slope of that, well then I know that the slope of this here will be its opposite. Okay, so I find the slope of that. I'll use my slope formula, and I will get a slope of 3. So BC slope equals 3. Right. So this line here then, what's that slope? And we'll call this point, I suppose D. So slope DA then equals, well, turn upside down, change the sign, minus 1/3. So there's the slope of that line. I want to find the equation of that line. Do I have its slope? Yes. Do I have a point on the line? Yes. Here it is. And what is that point? Minus 4, 3. So the point equals minus 4, 3. Find the equation of that line. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Okay, so we have y minus, this is x1, this is y1, so y1 is 3 equals, the slope is 1 over minus 3, x minus x1 is minus 4. So we'll be left with y minus 3 equals 1 over minus 3 x plus 4. Working this out then, we get minus 3y plus 9 equals x plus 4. And bringing it all to one side, then we'll have x plus 4 plus 3y minus 9 equals 0, which will be x plus 3y minus 5 equals 0. And I generally like bringing the number across. So there. So there's the equation of that line. Right, I'm going to do the same again now. But this time I'm going to do it for this line. I'll find the slope of that line, find the slope of AC, slope equals, and you can use your formula, but I found out already that it's 1/7. So therefore, if the slope of that line is 1/7, the slope of the line perpendicular to it, so this, is going to be minus 7. And we'll call this EB. So the slope of EB equals 1/7. I want to find the equation of this line. I have a point, I have its slope, so I should be able to do that. So y minus y1 equals m x minus x1 to find the equation. And after working it out, because I've done it already, you get 21x plus 3y equals minus 15 for the equation. So I have one equation, I have two equations. So just to go over that again, I have one equation which gives me this line, and the other equation which gives me this line. The ortocentre is where they both cross. So if I could find out where this line and this line cross, well then I would know this point, and therefore I'd know the ortocentre. How do I find out how these two lines cross? Yep, simultaneous equations. And I'm not going to do it for you. You should be able to do simultaneous equations. You should get an answer of x equals minus 1 and y equals 2, which means the ortocentre point is that. Okay. Just going back, if I wasn't to find, they asked me to find the circumcentre rather than the ortocentre. Okay, so rather than the ortocentre, they asked me to find the circumcentre. Right. Well, in that case, I would find, I'll just tidy this up a bit, okay, because you should be able to do it using your common sense. If they asked us to find the circumcentre, okay, I'll just tidy it up another bit. Well, that would be the midpoint of this. So what we'd have to do is we'd first have to get the midpoint of that using our midpoint formula, and then we'd be drawing a line this way which would make a right angle. So we have to get the midpoint of this. We also have to get the slope of this. We change the slope upside down. We'd use that slope and that midpoint to get the equation of this line. We do the same to another line. We might get the midpoint of this. We get the slope of that also in order for us to find the equation of that line. And then we do simultaneous equations using both equations. We do simultaneous equations to find where both lines cross, and that will be the circumcenter. Okay, that's it, guys. Thanks.